Customers will average between 6 and 8 interactions with a brand's content before they choose to buy, which is why having well-written, effective copy is a must. In this video, we'll help you make the most of each of those opportunities with the 5 most common copywriting mistakes and what to do instead. Let's get into it. Hello creators, I'm Ben Tolson from Podia, where we empower creators like you to make a living doing what you love. In another video, we covered 9 tips for writing copy that sells. Like that video, most of the tips in this video will be based on the book Everybody Writes by Ann Handley. Definitely check it out if you haven't read it yet. Unlike the other video, we're going to approach this one from a different angle and show you some common mistakes, why they might hurt your sales, and what you can do instead. As with many rules, some are made to be broken. As you grow in your writing skills, it becomes easier to tell when breaking a rule might actually allow your writing to better connect and engage your reader. If you're just starting out, then these rules are a good starting point, but the goal is always the same. We want to write in a way that connects with our audience, keeps them engaged, and leads them to action. With that, let's look at mistake number 1. Mistake number 1, using common openings. Common openings are phrases or words we use to preface a sentence that are sometimes unnecessary. We tend to use them because of how often we see or hear them used. They may work every once in a while, but if they're overused, they can interrupt the flow of your writing without adding any new information. Examples of common openings are according to, there is a, it is, in my opinion, in 2021, I think/believe. I'm going to share 2 examples of sentences with common openings and then show how we could revise them to make them a little bit better. According to. According to a recent report by the Department of Health, most people still don't get enough vitamin D. Could be rewritten as, a recent report by the Department of Health says most people still don't get enough vitamin D. In my opinion, pancakes are better than waffles. Could be written as, I prefer pancakes to waffles. In both examples, we shared the same information but in fewer words. It's hard to get people's attention in the first place. Removing unnecessary words keeps our writing snappier and our reader more engaged. Now give me a second to go back and check my script to make sure I didn't use any of the common openings. Mistake number 2, using jargon. Before we get into this mistake, I want to reiterate something I shared in a previous video. The best way to connect your audience to your writing is to speak their language. There may be jargon that your audience sees as common language. If that's the case, go for it. But using jargon can become a mistake when it sacrifices understanding for wit or brevity. Put another way, using unfamiliar jargon may make you sound more intelligent or allow you to use fewer words, but if used at the expense of real communication and connection, it can be off-putting to your readers. In Everybody Writes, Handley says, avoid things you wouldn't whisper to your sweetheart in the dark. The other night, I whispered this to my sweetheart. I want to be the SME on the KPIs that give our love the biggest ROI. And she was like,
What?
Let's look at the following example of using unnecessary jargon and how we can make it more effective. Successful brands double down on their core competencies. This could be rewritten as, successful brands invest in the things they do really well. They're both saying the same thing, but the second sentence uses more natural language, which may connect more with your audience. Again, depending on the natural language of your audience, the first sentence could work. It's good to be purposeful about understanding how your audience best communicates, so you can make an informed decision about whether or not to use jargon, and you can write in a way that really connects with your reader authentically. Mistake number 3, using passive voice. The difference between passive and active voice has to do with the relationship between the subject and the verb of a sentence. When using active voice, the subject performs the verb's action. When using passive voice, the subject is being acted upon by the verb. There are times when passive voice can work, but in many cases, active voice makes the action more powerful and feels more natural. Here's an example of passive voice. Hundreds of thousands of videos are being uploaded by YouTube creators every day. Now let's try that same sentence with active voice. Every day, YouTube creators upload hundreds of thousands of videos. Active voice places more of the focus on the subject, which in this case is YouTube creators. This subtle shift can keep your reader more interested, especially when the subject is a person or group your reader might identify with. Mistake number 4, using weakling verbs. Weakling verbs can often communicate the right action, but don't paint a vivid enough picture in the mind of the reader to make them feel that action. An action is felt when the verb used for the action has some kind of energy or intention connected to it. Let's check out an example. She was so excited she told all of her friends about how great the online course was. Now we're going to use a more powerful verb to paint a more vivid picture. She was so excited she gushed to all of her friends about how great the online course was. The word gushed does a better job of helping the reader imagine the action being taken. Sometimes a regular verb is all you need to get your point across, but if you're trying to give your writing more impact, look for opportunities to use stronger verbs. Mistake number 5. Using too many adverbs. An adverb is a word that's used with a verb to give the verb more meaning. Adverbs are often used in an attempt to paint a more vivid picture, but can also interrupt the flow of a sentence, making it feel clunky. In many cases, a stronger verb can be used to replace a verb-adverb combo, like in the following examples. Production increased quickly could be replaced with production surged. He walked purposefully across the bridge could be rewritten as he strode across the bridge. The verbs used in the revised sentences paint the same or sometimes even stronger picture than the verb-adverb pair in the original sentences. If you can make your words flow and paint a vivid picture in your reader's mind, they'll want to keep reading more. Bonus mistake: using more words than necessary. This final mistake sums up a lot of what we're trying to accomplish with the other tips in this video. The more skilled you are, the easier it is to recognize when to use the right amount of words, but people who are earlier in their writing journey tend to use more words than they need to. Look at your sentences and paragraphs and answer the following questions. Can you say the same thing but in a more concise way? Will making it more concise still allow you to speak the language of your audience? And to tie everything together, let's ask one more question. Are there words you could swap to paint a more vivid picture for your reader? Let me emphasize this again. The purpose of these rules is not to make you a better copywriter just for the sake of making you seem like a great copywriter. The purpose is to help you write in a way that makes you a better communicator for your audience. If one of these rules comes into conflict with that purpose, that's when it's time to break it. So what did you learn from this video that you're going to start using in your writing? Leave a comment and let us know. If you found this video helpful and you want more content like this, click the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you'll be sure not to miss any future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.